Some guitar players are just weird. And today I want to talk about 10 guitar players that have a weird technique. Here we go. Hey Guitar Champion, what's going on? I'm Justin Hombach, back from my practice cave, and welcome to today's video. Before we begin with the list, two things. First of all, weird does not mean bad. The guitar players that I list here are phenomenals. I love all of them. They are really great guitar players. One of them I even call a really close friend of mine, but they have all a really weird, unique style to it that you don't see that often in guitar community. And second, I made for every guitar player in that list here 2 links that I've tapped out. You can download the PDF and the guitar profiles in the link in the description box. Check it out there, get the tabs there, and learn the style of these great guitar players. When you hear weird guitar technique, then I guess immediately certain guitar players will pop into your head. Maybe I will miss a few, maybe here on the list is not everyone that you may think about. So if I have missed someone, then write it down in the comments. And for me, when I think of weird guitar techniques, number one pops straight into my head, and this is, well, I only have to make this movement here, and you all know who I'm talking about, of course, Marty Friedman. The legendary ex-lead guitarist from Megadeth. He has a really weird right hand technique with angling his wrist like this. I would not recommend to do this. Some of the weird techniques that we're discussing today may work for these individual guitar players, but I guarantee that for 99% of all guitar players out there, these techniques not work, and they will maybe putting more stepstones into your path of being a good guitar player when you would try out these techniques. So the right hand technique of Marty Friedman I would definitely not recommend. Number 2 is Rusty Coolie. Wait a second, Rusty Coolie has a weird guitar technique? The monster of shred himself? Well, yes, he released a few months ago really old footage, like 20 years old, and there in this footage where he's playing some songs from his first debut record, he's doing some weird stuff with his thumb and changing the way how he holds and grips the pick. Really weird, but he definitely has changed this kind of style to a more consistent picking style, and probably to a better way to hold the pick, the regular way how I teach this all the time here on this channel. But this is something where I'm currently making a lot of research to find out why he was changing this weird technique to the normal technique. Number 3 is Chris Poland, another Megadeth guitar player, but from what I've heard is that he has a lot of problems with his hands, like arthritis or focal dystonia, something like that. I'm not 100% sure, it's just a rumor that I heard, but especially his left hand, the way how he bends the strings is really weird, really something that you don't see that often in guitar community, but it is definitely part of this really cool sound and style that he brought to Megadeth back in the early 80s, and then again in 2004 with The System Has Failed, a really great Megadeth record with some really awesome solos in it. On number 4 we have the shred godfather himself, Michaelangelo Badio. Michael is resting his fingers when he's doing a lot of intense sweeping and speed picking. Again, something that I would not recommend, because by that you will lose a lot of flexibility in your right arm and you will create a lot of tension. Maybe it works for him because he does not know it differently. When you do a certain technique for many years, then it becomes for your second nature. But is it the best technique for you? I doubt it. But he still shreds the hell out of guitar, even with now being in his mid-60s, playing with Manowar and playing some incredible guitar solos on acoustic guitar, and still melting our faces on the electric guitar. On number 5 we have Django Reinhardt, where someone who definitely did not choose the reason why he has a really interesting and individual kind of style. Because one day his trailer caught fire and he jumped into his trailer to save his guitar, and by that he burned his left hand a lot, so that he only could use 2 or maybe 3 fingers, and by that he had to create this individual kind of style, which leads to a lot of great musical solos and pieces, especially for the gypsy guitar scene. Number 6 did not choose this kind of individual style as well, and this is my good friend Christian Münzner. He has a disease that is called focal dystonia, where he cannot move his middle finger anymore. We made a really cool video about this together on his channel. Click the info card here to see this. There he is explaining it more in detail, definitely worth to watch. But through these circumstances he started to create an own and individual kind of tapping style, and he focused a lot more on writing songs and on composing music rather than just trying to be the perfect guitar player. And if you don't know how to write fast speed picking licks in your solo, then I would recommend to check out the ZEN of Speed Picking, my big online masterclass about speed picking in a fun and efficient way with tons of licks, etudes, exercises, workouts for beginners, intermediate and advanced player. Check the link in the description box, there you can learn more about the ZEN of Speed Picking. Number 7 is sometimes an underrated guitar player, especially in the Megadeth guitar community, because I'm talking about the Megadeth man himself, Dave Mustaine. I play in a Megadeth tribute band, and sometimes I think it's really interesting what kind of creative and individual ways Dave Mustaine is using to create new licks, new melodies, new riffs and whatnot. So here he has also on the rhythm guitar and on the riff guitar side a really unique and interesting way, and as well in the solo side with some weird techniques, like for example playing with the thumb as a bar chord to have a lot of big stretches, like for example in the song Washington Is Next, which next generation guitar player adapted like Andre Nieri, or playing some really interesting rhythmical kind of tapping ideas and tapping licks with an interesting tapping technique. So it's definitely worth to check out a look at the solo section and the solo stuff from Dave Mustaine and Megadeth. On number 8 we have another rhythm mastermind and rhythm machine, and I'm talking about Cory Wong, the funk terminator himself. This extremely fast funk strumming, I assume even Guthrie Govan is kind of a little bit jealous when he sees Cory Wong play. Combined with some really interesting modern funk ideas, we have the next level of funk and R&B and soul guitar. Cory Wong. Number 9 is another guitar legend who did not choose to have this kind of individual style. He was forced to adapt it this way, and I'm talking about Jeff Healey, a blind guitar player. And he's playing guitar like a lap steel, so on his lap, and playing it more like a piano. One hand is picking, the other hand is playing like this. And with that technique he can play extremely extended chords, because he can also use his thumb as something that is fretting on the fretboard. An extremely interesting and overlooked blues guitar player, because his line that he's creating out of this kind of misery, these are really inspiring, especially when you want to check out a little bit more kind of blues guitar. And this is something that every shred guitarist should do, also check out the blues. And on number 10 we have, I would say, the guitar player that is changing the world of guitar more than nearly everybody else. And I'm talking about Tim Henson. Tim Henson usually comes from a really traditional kind of shredding school with some of the Petrucci inspired picking or the Richie Kotzen kind of inspired legato stuff, but especially in the last 4 years he created an own individual style with including more kind of percussive techniques, strumming techniques, interesting use of open strings, not only in a riff kind of section but also in the solos, like the lick that I shared in the PDF, which is a sweep arpeggio, which includes open strings and harmonics and all these kind of stuff. It is mind-blowing what this guy is doing. Like it or not, be a fan of the music or not, but we all may have to accept that Tim Henson is changing the guitar world. Alright, these are 10 great guitar players with a weird and individual and interesting kind of technique. Which one did I miss? Write it down in the comments. And if you like this little video, then leave a subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Cheers and stay progress. Bye.